Hello, I am Pam, and this is my channel, Made by Pam. So, what am I coming on here for today? Well, I have this pattern, Simplicity 8843, and I wanted to come on and reveal this jacket, show you what I did, and that it's finally finished after so many weeks of working on it. Seems like it took forever. But it's finally done. I'm so excited. I know there's not a lot of people on here. Hi, Sharon. I am glad I'm back too. That was a long day on Monday. It definitely was. Monday, I decided that I was going to take their offer. So I was sitting waiting for my flight, and the airline says, hey, they announce it over the thing. Hi, Kellyanne. And they announce over the intercom, we need 2 volunteers to give up their seat so that, I looked a little weird for a minute. And we need 2 volunteers to give up their seat, and in exchange, we'll give you a $350 voucher. And I'm like, that's an idea. So I went up, and I ended up being the first one up there. So the second volunteer, she got on the flight, and being that I was the first volunteer, hi, Stephanie. Oh, my hook's not going to hold. I should have known that was going to happen. I didn't let it sit long enough. I tried. I moved a hook to see if it would hold to be better, and it didn't. So, go figure. Move that out of the way here. Hi, Joni. I'm so glad to see you. It's been so long, Joni. So when they announced the thing on the flight, I was like, you know what? I'll do that. And so I go up and talk to the lady, and she tells me they may not need me to give up my flight, but just in case, because they had overbooked. And so if all the people didn't show up, the people that volunteered would get to take the flight. Well, my group showed up that I gave up my seat for. And so the other lady went on, and then there was another lady that came up right after they started closing the doors. The guy had just come out and said, okay, we're all full. It's okay, Joni. You'll be okay. Sometimes taking care of stuff at home is more important than watching and participating in YouTube. I totally understand, Joni. So, the lady showed up, and she's like, come on, really? You can't just let me on? They're like, nope, we're totally full. The lady was so upset and so disappointed because I think she really needed to be home. And so I felt bad for her. But they gave me my voucher. And then I was telling my sister, because I had to let my sister know that I wouldn't be on the flight that would get me home by 4 o'clock so she could pick me up. Well, actually, it would have been 3:30, but it takes like half an hour to get to the airport. And so I let my sister know, that I wouldn't be on that flight. And she's like, well, did you ask them for a meal voucher? I'm like, no, I didn't know we could do that. She's like, well, go ask them for a meal voucher. They should give you one. You've got like 7 hours to wait. And so I went and asked for a meal voucher, and they gave me one for $12. So I sat down and I ate McDonald's. Yeah, ate McDonald's in an airport because nothing else sounded good. But there was a blessing to eating McDonald's. So I looked up at the board, and then the lady got in line, and I decided what I wanted. So I got up behind her, and we chatted for a minute. And then she had sat down in like the McDonald's dining area. And so I went to go sit down, and she's like, hey, I got space over here. Come join me. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I went and joined the lady, and we had a nice chat, and we shared my French fries because, I ended up upgrading, and I really should not have, but I did. And I shared my French fries with her, and she shared her little peanut butter cookies with me. And then the guy came around and asked if everyone would fill out their survey that was on the little receipt thing, and he would give them a free dessert. So I got a free cinnamon roll out of the deal. So free meal and free cinnamon roll. Also, in addition to giving up my seat and getting that $350. Too bad it wasn't real money, It's just like a credit that goes towards the airline. So, it can be used to take another flight. So I did that, and I let my husband know. He's like, okay, well, I guess that's good. Well, and not only that, but being that I get have that meal voucher, I can't, since I have that credit voucher for the airline, I can go out and visit my husband again later, and it will cost less because the tickets, like for the round trip ticket, it was only like $530. So getting a $350 credit for taking a later flight, I cannot argue with that. I think that is amazing. I was thinking about it yesterday. And granted, I got home, it was, 9:30 when we landed, and my sister picked me up at 10. And I was beat. I was so tired. I was exhausted. And being, that whole time. Because it's like a 2.5, 3-hour flight to get home. But yeah, it was good. So the lady I met, her name was Connie, and she lives in Canada. And so I walked her to her gate, and then I went to my gate and sat and waited. And then I finally found out for sure exactly. So I finally found out for sure what gate I was supposed to be at after, because the guy gave me an estimation, but then they changed gates. And so I was right next to the gate that the lady was at. And so since she hadn't loaded the plane yet, because they were just getting ready to call her flight, I said goodbye to her, and I texted her daughter and let her daughter know that she got on her flight safely, because the lady didn't have a cell phone. And she's like, can you please let my daughter know that I'm okay? I'm like, yeah, I can. And so I had messaged her daughter before, so she knew who I was. And her mom had left a message with my phone letting her know who I was. But I messaged her and let her know that she made it on the flight safely, and that she's on her way home, and what the gate was that she came from. And I gave her some Nightmare Before Christmas stickers. So before I left, my sister had these Nightmare Before stickers that she had only wanted a couple of them for her daughter, and she didn't know what to do with the rest of them. And so she gave them to me. And so I had these stickers, and this lady was talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm like, I have some stickers of that. And so I let her pick through my stickers, and she picked about 10 stickers out of my pile. And she's like, all right, I'm going to use one of these and send them to you in a Happy Mail. I'm like, yay. So she's going to make a card because she's a sticker fanatic. So, you know, I made a friend while in the airport. And then I also talked to another lady while I was waiting to find out for sure what gate I was going to be at. When I was waiting at the gate I thought I was going to be at, she was doing amigurumi, and I happened to sit down by her and talk to her, and she's like, you know, usually when I'm doing this, people just kind of look at me weird and they don't chat with me. But she was kind of excited that someone sat and chatted with her, and she kind of helped me out because I've been having trouble with the magic 6 circle for the crochet for the amigurumi, and I was having trouble with that, and I was like, how am I going to figure this out? Because I would get it, and I could get it so that I could get it started, but that circle, it's hard to maneuver. And she just like, just do a slip knot, but make sure that when you pull on the tail, that's going to pull the knot. I'm like, okay. So she showed me, and I got it, and then I pulled it after I got that magic 6 done, and it's really not that hard. Granted, I have some work to do to figure out about like patterns and stuff for the amigurumi and for crochet and stuff, but getting that started was a big accomplishment because my niece tried showing me when I went and visited my sister, and she just tried taking the string. So pretend this is a piece of yarn, okay? This is like a cord, but like my niece would show me like by putting like around and then wrapping it and then like doing the crochet thing, and I just could not. It did, Sherry, it did. So I just could not like get my fingers to work right and to finagle how that's supposed to work. So she's like, just do a slip knot, you know, and you'll be good. Because if you do a slip knot, and then when you have your tail, you can pull it after you do your, like, see, this would be the super long tail, and this would be the short tail. You just have your tail that you can pull after you do your thing. And so that was nice. All right, since I have so many of my friends in here now, and I have been chatting. Oh, and I had a great time with my husband. We did go to the thrift store while we were out there because we went to the movie, and then we went out to eat. And that was probably the best steak I've had in a long time. We went to Outback Steakhouse. It was really good. And the guy was so nice. He gave us a free dessert for our anniversary. It was so nice. And then the next night we went to, we watched Puss in Boots on Saturday night. We watched Puss in Boots. Well, it was like afternoon. We watched it, and then we went to dinner. And then after dinner, I talked my husband into taking me to the Goodwill because it was just, you know, just up around the block type thing. You know, Texas, they don't make things easy in their layout and how to get around. It takes longer than it really should. But we went by the Goodwill, and we went in and looked around, and of course, all I found in there was books that I wanted. They didn't really have any fabric. They didn't really have any like cool sheets or anything that would be great, but they had books. So I found some books. So I will just do a quick overview of some of the books that I got. Now, I did do a video of showing the books, but I will show you some of the books. And these are like the coloring books that I got. I already gave my daughter the other books. But so I got this book. It's called My Garden, a sketchbook for gardeners, artists, and landscape lovers. And so this book would normally cost $25 is what it says on the tag back there. It was $1.99 and it was an orange tag, so I got it for 50 cents. Oh, really, Sharon? Yeah, I was doing that with my phone, so. But yeah, I have this. And so it just has these, enjoying little designs and stuff. I thought that would be kind of fun. A little juvenile, but kind of fun. So that was $1. And then I found it's kind of like a color by number, but it's a color by pixel. So you're using you're going to color it. And so it kind of says fill squares with color to reveal picture. And it's kind of supposed to be like kind of mess with your brain a little bit, But yeah, I don't know if you can really see that. I didn't leave it long enough. There. I can see that a little bit better. Here's another page. Leave that long enough so you can see. Hi, Nez. So glad you're here. So this one did cost $1.99. Now, all the books at Goodwill there were $1.99 each. So they didn't decipher on like what kind of book it was. Not like Savers does or Desert Industries. But this one is like a flat rate of $1.99 per book. There was even like this little tiny little children's book that was $1.99. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't really pay $1.99 for that little tiny book. And they did have like another like book package that had like 5 different books in it. That was like a box package. And the box package would have been $1.99. And I looked at the thing and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to do me any good. So I just left it there. But I thought it would have been a good buy if that was something that I would use. Now, I really did get lucky. Seriously. But yeah, this is like from 2016 is the date on it. And so it kind of shows like what the pictures are supposed to look like when they're finished. So it kind of gives you a clue on what the pictures should look like. But there's nothing that says that you can't change it up and make it totally different. But I thought that was really neat. And then another book that I got is this book. It's a mystery color Christmas. And it is also a color by number book. So all the little spots to color in. And I thought that would be kind of fun. I saw that one. I'm like, I'm so excited. So after we had gone and looked, so we looked at the books first. And then we went back over and we went over and looked at the other stuff. And then I decided that I needed to go back over and look at the books again. Because I was like, I need to go look one more time. So I went back over. Oh, I bet, Sharon. That one was $2. So I was pretty lucky. So we went back over to look at the books again. And as we're looking through the books, I find this book. And I grabbed it. I would have paid the $2 for this book. Not a question. Because I love these books. And it It has a couple pages where it has like a little bit of coloring in it. Like here, it has a little bit of the lion colored, or yeah, I think it's a lion. And then another page had a little bit of a beak for a bird colored in. Oh, and then it does have this page that's colored. But it's not like it was done sloppily at all. So I can blend it in okay. And then this one had the beak and a little bit of the wing colored. Yeah, this one, being that it was an orange tag, it cost me $1. So this was like one of the best buys ever. And this one, it says normally would cost $14. I'm sure prices have risen now that it would cost more than that. But just seeing the book and I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I went back over and looked at those again. But it was the best. So, what I have really come on here to talk about. Well, I did come on to talk about my trip because someone wanted to hear about my trip. And then I came on to show my jacket, the S8843. So it's a coat. It's a jacket, but I make it into a coat because I add a lining. It's like a Mrs. Anorak with or without hood. So it's like an anorak, but that's a coat, okay? That's all I can say. It's a coat. And I add lining because I live in Utah, and sometimes it gets really cold here. But I have it all finished. I finally put on the cuffs. So I have the cuffs put on. Now, I made the cuffs extra long. You see how long that is? So if I stick my hand in there, like, so my fingers touch right there. So that's the length of the cuff. But the best part about the cuffs, though, is that you can roll them up. And after doing this cuff, I really want to add a cuff to my green jacket that I have over there. Because adding a cuff to it would make me more likely to wear it more if it had a cuff. Because I love my other coat that I wear, my one with the zigzag stripes, the colorful one. But I would love to wear my green one more also, but it needs cuffs. So I am going to add cuffs, and I'm going to make them long like this is. Like, you want to know how many inches this is after it's folded over. So folded over is like 5 inches. So this is like a 10-inch strip, and then it's folded in, and so it connects. And here I didn't hide the seam on the inside. I just sewed it on because I was thinking about it. I'm like, I couldn't wrap my head around it this time, and I didn't want to fight with it. So I just sewed it in just like this. And I did gather the edges so that it would fit the cuff. And then, so it's gathered around this a little bit. But yeah, have that. So the cuffs are done, and then I added the little pull things here. So I just used this pull thing here. And I actually made like the channel a little bit smaller than I did on my other colored one. And this one I just did the one line of stitching. I didn't do the line of stitching on this side because I just sewed it on and then I folded it up and then sewed that down. And I figured that made more sense because other ones, like, I can show you with my other jacket how I did it. So this is my green jacket that I made. On this, like, it has the stitching there. So it's like placing it down and then stitching along it. But with this one, I had the fabric flip down, and then I to sew it, and then I flipped it up and sewed the top stitching. And I did add the pockets on it here. So I have the inseam pockets. Oh, that's awesome, Nez. You know, Barbie clothes, that's a challenge to make Barbie clothes. And be a lot of hand stitching. But I love being able to make clothes for people. Yeah, I understood that, Nez. And then here's the front pocket. And I just added white cam snaps on it. I just have the white cam snaps. And then it has the pocket in there. And then with this, I added like a white fabric. It's kind of fuzzy. That will kind of line that inside of that pocket so that it will be a soft lining for her. And when I say her, I mean my niece. So go ahead and move my seat. That's awesome, Nez. So here's the inside of the coat. And I did add a hook here to hang it up. And if I see these little strands of string as I go, I'm going to cut them off. Because I do need to get this to my niece. And so if I see the strands, I'm going to cut them off so I don't have to go around and search for them later, because I'll remember that I saw them. And so this one, I did add a pocket here. I'm going to scooch it forward just a little bit, since I'm standing up and yours back on my table. I want you to be able to see this closer up. So I have a pocket here that I added, and I also put that nice little lining here on the inside. And then this has the metal snaps on this side, which I could have done the cam snaps, but then I didn't. But I've had that nice white lining on the inside. And so it's got a nice, like, oversized pocket here. And then I added I made some bias binding. I have some more right here. So I made quite a bit out of a fat quarter. So it was just a fat quarter piece of fabric that I used. And so I did it for this strip here. Had enough of the bias binding, and I put some interfacing for this placket here. But then on the inside, I have the little bias around the pocket to kind of hide those seams, because it would have made it too bulky to have to fold it in and then stitch it. So I just sewed the bias around the edges and then stitched the edge of the bias. I'm so glad you enjoy him, Joni. Hi, Becky. So I added the pockets on both of the uppers. Now, I was thinking what I want to do is I want to also add pockets like this, like the upper part, to my coat that I use. because the coat that I use, I find when I open it up, I'm like looking for a pocket on the inside. Now I have the pockets that are down, but having a pocket on the upper would be nice. And I love this. I think my niece is going to absolutely love it. So I'm going to put it on and show it to you. Although those lights are going to blind you. I'm sorry about the glare. But it fits me pretty well. It is a little bit bulky and it's kind of heavy. But I think my niece will be okay with that. But it fits pretty nice. It reminds me of a Beetlejuice. Yes, I love inside pockets. So it's got the inside pocket here, has the inside pocket here. Oh, and one more. It has a zippered hidden pocket right here that I have also lined with that white lining. So it's got that zippered pocket, the hidden inside zipper pocket. And I've done that hidden inside zipper pocket on both sides. So one I did blue and the other one I did pink. Kind of like match like the fabric colors because I've got blues in here and I've got pinks. So, and she's not going to really see the zipper when it's closed up. So it's got that little flap. That's why it's got that little lip there. It's because it hides the zipper there. Yeah, she said she wanted lots of secret pockets. Well, she wanted lots of pockets, but I at least added that. Oh, and then I do have, I think it's this one in here. So in here, I'm going to take it back off since I showed you. Like with this, so if she's going, like I think that looks really nice with this black rib knit for the cuffs. Because this is the rib knit that I used. No, not that one. That's for the scarves. This one right here is a rib knit that I used. I don't know if you can really see it that well. Scan you down. Maybe less of a glare. You know, and this rib knit I got back in 2021. And I know that because I have a tag. And it says I paid $2 for it. So that could be it. Or I could have paid $1. Who knows? I kind of got out of the habit of writing down what the actual price on it was because, you know, you get lazy like that. But yeah, I think it turned out really nice. And so if she's like feeling extra cold or something and she wants to curl her hands up and have extra, she can do that, you know. It will give lots of extra length. Thank you, Sharon. You wish there was matching pants for this jacket? If I had enough fabric, that's an idea. But the thing is, the pants would have to be lined too, because of the type of fabric it is. Now I'd have enough to make Barbie doll pants out of it, but then you really wouldn't see the design. But I have some fabric left here. So it's like almost like a home deck fabric. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is going to love it. I'm so excited that it's finished finally. I was going to pop it open and show you really quick. So I did kind of add another little extra secret pocket here. So if she puts something in there and she doesn't want it to go all the way to the bottom, it's just got a small little short pocket. Like right here. Like right here. I decided that I would add that. Yeah, I bet that would be great. Hi, Hi, Becca. Hope everything's going well with you. Oh, it's such a great visit we had, Becca. But yeah, I am so glad this is finished. And the reason why I add this placket here, because with most coats, they will have a little placket for the zipper. And it kind of protects against like zipping up your clothes or also zipping up your hair or whatever. But then it also gives that little like chin guard piece there that protects your chin when you zip it all the way up. But it is officially done, and I'm going to give it to my niece. I need to text her and let her know that I have it ready. And I don't know if she works today or if she's off today. But it is officially finished. Now, I have another project that I need to work on also. I did finish last night. I got out my machine and I finished 2 more towels. So I had them ready and pinned together. I just needed to do the stitching around it and put the buttonhole and the button on there. So I got these ones finished yesterday. And I don't know if you've gotten your box yet, Sharon, or not. But I know if you haven't gotten it yet, you should get it by tomorrow at the latest, is what they said. But yeah. And these are done with the nicer towels. Because I had some that were like not very nice towels. Like I can show you the difference between the towel. So I know you can't see me at the moment because I went behind scenes. But so I got these towels from Harbor Freight Tools. Okay. Yes. But they seem to be cheaper and they're an okay quality. At least some of them. So this is the original towel. You know, it's just a smaller towel. It's like a 14 by 16. And so when I do it, I just fold over them like this. And then I make sure that the little like tag thing is towards the bottom of the towel. But I had gotten some more towels, but I realized that they are not as top quality. So these other towels that I have, I'll make more towel hangers with them, but it's not one that I would make for friends and family because of the quality. Like I know my sister, my older sister, she would be totally okay with these ones. But for the most part, like these ones are ones that I would make for people. Because the quality is so much different. Like this one is like a dingy, not as soft as that. It's hard to explain the difference, but maybe you can see it. But I have one that I made that I have sitting upstairs hanging on my stove, on my oven. And it's already getting dirty, but at least it can be washed. But yeah, so I did those yesterday. Yes, there is. Like, I thought about picking some up from Walmart, but I didn't want to pay $2 per towel. That just would make it hard. All right. I don't know what else to talk about now. I've spent my morning watching Dee Dee. Hi, Matthew. So glad of you to join us today. And I haven't done any more on my scavenger hunt book, so that's still sitting the same. I did draw a little bit while I was gone, and I did color in a book. Oh, what I do to find the books? I look through the book section. You know, especially at the Goodwill. Like, this one, I almost missed. If I had not gone back and looked a second time, I would have missed it. But they did, it was a smaller Goodwill. Now, sometimes when I look for books, I also look in like the office supplies place. Like when I go to Savers and those places and like Desert Industries, I will look in the craft section, even at Goodwill. When I go to the Goodwill that's like Goodwill row, like it's like thrift store row. So we have a Goodwill, we have a Desert Industries, and then we have a Savers, just like right in a row. And that's out in Layton, Utah. And then across the street from the Savers is a Walmart, and across the street from the Desert Industries is a Sam's Club. And then the other way, across the other street, like going like a diagonal, is a Big Lots, a Harbor Freight, Hobby Lobby, and then down the street is a Kohl's. So they're all kind of like right in a row out in Layton. And then out here where I live in Ogden, like I have a Desert Industries in North Ogden, and then, which is maybe like 5 miles away from me, I'm pretty sure, and it's going northbound. And then a little bit away from that is a Walmart that I go to occasionally when I'm out that way doing my thrift store shopping. Sometimes if I'm out that way, I'll stop by the Walmart too, because there might be something that I need, and so I stop by that Walmart. And if that Walmart doesn't have it, generally the one in Riverdale, so it's also kind of like part of Ogden, but then I go to Riverdale and look. But about like maybe 5 miles the opposite way, like maybe 3, 4, 5 miles the opposite way going southbound is my Savers, and it's a thrift store. And then about a mile from that, like going back north from the Savers, is a Goodwill. No, it's a Dollar Tree, and has a Value Vault, which is like another kind of, it's like a discount store. So he buys these like big like boxes of like returned merchandise or just overstock, and he puts that in the store and he marks them all down. So like today his sale goes $2 an item. Thursdays is like $1 an item, And like yesterday was $3 an item, and like on like Friday and Saturday is $5 an item, and Mondays are like $4 an item. And sometimes he switches it up, but he's kind of gotten in that groove where people have come to expect like the days where it kind of decreases and is those prices. And so he tries to keep it at those prices to make people happy. But I have found quite a few crafting items, like the calendars that I use for drawing and stuff. Like, so I have these calendars here. Now, this calendar only cost me like 10 cents, okay? Because he'll sell them to me for 10 cents a piece. But yeah, and sometimes it's pretty much, it's a really good deal. Like this one, I just put like stamps on it. But this is the kind of calendar thing that I use for my scavenger hunt. But the one I use for my scavenger hunt is different. Like this is like a little masterboard type thing that I did with Becca and Beth on their channel one time. So I decided just to do it in my little calendar page. And so having those calendars is awesome. I love it. And I had to do dishes today, Matthew. I don't generally like doing dishes, but it really had to be done. And the dishes aren't all the way finished yet, but for the most part, most of them are. I still have a couple more items that do need to be washed. But I was done washing for the moment. And plus, I made some breakfast and ate that. And I still need to wash that pan. But other than that, but yeah, basically I look around like where they might set things to find the books. Like when I go to my savers, I look in like the homewares, like, so they have like the office supplies and stuff. And so I look through the office supplies because sometimes, like, that's where I found the paint by numbers, is in like the office supply section. So where they put, and every store is different. But in mine, it's where they put the like books for like the picture books type thing for like photo albums, and then like the different papers and stuff. So I just go down that aisle. And a lot of times when I go to the thrift store, I only look in a couple sections. I don't wander the whole entire store. So I'll go to, like, I'll walk through the office aisle section, and then I'll look along the wall where they have the hanging bags, because you've seen me open up the bags. I'll look along the wall where they have the bags, and I'll look through and see if there's anything in those bags that interests me. And then I will go to the books, because the books are like right at the end of the bags. So I'll look through the books, and generally I'll look where in like the sewing art section page first, in the section first. But I will like go through, if I don't find any in that section, I'll go through and I'll look on the end caps, but I'll also look in the children's book section and then some of the other sections, just to double check and see if I missed any. Just because if I see a coloring book, like an adult coloring book like these, I generally will grab them. Even though I have so many books, I will generally grab them because I know I'm not going to see them later. And so it's just a point of being there at the right day, I guess. You know, and sometimes I go and I don't find anything that I want. And then sometimes I go and I find like way too much stuff, and I come home with bags, and then I get down here and I'm like, oh, now where am I going to put it? Because I find stuff that I just have to get, because I have a hard time leaving it behind. But yeah. Yeah, I just look around. You know, generally I look through that section more than once. And then after I'm done looking at the books, I'll go over to the other wall where they have like their yarn and stuff hung up, and where they'd have patterns. And I look on that wall for like craft items, like yarns and like knitting looms or whatever, just different crafting items. And sometimes I find bags with buttons in them. And then sometimes I find bags that have other craft supplies in it. Let's see if I still had that bag over there, but I don't. I already moved it and emptied it. And then, and sometimes I don't find anything over there. And then right after I go to that, I go up the aisle that has the sheets. And then on the opposite end is the aisle that has the fabric. And so I'll look through the fabrics, and then I'll look through the sheets, because sometimes I can find some really awesome sheets. Like this backdrop here, this is a sheet, and I love it so much. Oh, hope you find one. Which one are you going to, Sharon? Are you going to Goodwill, or are you going to a different thrift store? You know, I looked up how many thrift stores are in Texas. Like, just in the area I was in, there was quite a few within a couple miles of each other. I only had my husband take me to one. You're going to Goodwill. Yeah. Now, do they do like the 50% off tags, depending on the color? Because I was so glad that the one in Texas did the 50% off this certain tag. Because the Goodwill in my area now, which is crazy, they still have their colored tags to kind of determine when that product was put out, that has its prices and stuff on there. Oh, I'm so sorry, Joni. Yeah, so like my Goodwill out here, it doesn't have the 50% off on tags anymore, which really makes me sad, because I wish they did. And then, but my Goodwill also does do the military discount. So when I go in, I think it's either 10, 15, or 20%. I can't remember. But I know it's a certain percentage off. So I always make sure I take advantage of that. I did find an awesome pack of colored pencils. Let me grab it. So I did go to Goodwill last week. I went on Wednesday. I don't think I have done a video really since then. But I got 100 pack colored pencils, and it had just been put out too, like around that time. And so it had the tag on it, but someone had torn off the 5 off of it. And so the lady was able to like ring it up, and it said $5.99. And so I said, well, do you mind if I open up the package to see what the pencils look like before I decide whether or not I want to buy it? She's like, yeah, go ahead. And so I pulled it open. And you can see, like, It's a pretty good box. So I pulled it open, and they are all brand new pencils. All brand new, like never been used. Like one of the pencils, the lead off the top broke, but that's okay. But it has all those pencils. And I like that Crayola also will tell you on most of their stuff, like on the colored pencils, but on like the twistable colored pencils, they don't tell you the actual color. I don't think. Do they? I don't know. But they actually tell you the actual color on the pencil. So it has over 100 different colors. Brand new pencils. Like the package had pretty much never been opened, I guess. And I got it for $5.99. Yes, score. Absolutely. Hi, Tommy. Thank you for the thumbs up. So I was very excited to find this one. And it, like I said, the lady was like, well, it might be 99 cents. But she rang it up and she's like, it's $5.99. And so I did open it and look at it before I bought it. And I calculated, I'm like, you know what? That is a really good deal, because I know that if I was to buy 100 pack of colored pencils at Walmart, it would cost a lot more than $6. Sometimes I look at crayons at Walmart and I am astounded at how expensive they are. So if I looked up, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Walmart app on my phone really quick. Just because I just kind of want to look. Now, I like my internet that I have right now that I use for my house. I have Verizon for my internet server. And then for like my phone service, I have T-Mobile. And the only reason why I go with both is because T-Mobile didn't have the internet option in my area. It wasn't quite available yet. So for a 100 count Crayola colored pencils, okay, so we have that, let's see, is it that one right there? Yeah, that one right there. 100 count colored pencils. Looks just like the box. $17.97 for that box. Hi, Happy Ray. Yeah, $17.97. And I got my box for $6. Only because I got it from the thrift store. And it was brand new. But yeah, so my internet service, like that I use Wi-Fi and everything with, is Verizon. And the internet server, like the phone service I have, is through T-Mobile. Because we tried to get like the internet box from T-Mobile, and they didn't have that available in my area yet. They couldn't accommodate that. And so we went with Verizon for our internet service. Now, the plus side about the Verizon box, okay, it's just a plug and go. So all you have to do is plug it in, and if they have the towers available, you have internet service. So when me and my kids and my sister and her kids, when we went out to move my daughter's stuff to Wisconsin, and then we visited my sister in Indiana, when we took that trip, my kids like to have internet. They like to have Wi-Fi. And they complain sometimes when they don't have Wi-Fi. But to like kind of ease the peace and make things a little bit more manageable for us, I took the box with us. So I had like a power converter box type thing that I would plug into the little charging port, like the cigarette lighter charging port thing in my vehicle. And then I would plug the box. I would plug the box into the converter, and it worked marvelously. There was only a couple times where we didn't have service with that Verizon box, and that was going through certain parts of Wyoming. But other than that, like when we needed the service, we had it. And it was nice. To say the least, it was nice to be able just to take that with us. So it wasn't a service that had to have like wires connected to it and plugged into everything. And it was just one that you plug it in, you turn it on, and you're ready to go. As long as you could have your code. And the code for that box was just written right on the bottom of the box. So it was easy enough to figure out if you forgot the PIN code to get in. The password. Yeah. But yeah, I was so excited. All right. Well, any other questions? Anything else you guys want to know? And turn into like a question and answer video. I don't know what else to talk about. All right. Well, let's just give you another minute here. I did mention how my visit with my hubby was. My visit was absolutely amazing. I really had a really good time. So he picked me up from the airport. It was probably about 8:30 at night. And because that's when my plane arrived. So the airport I flew into was a fairly small airport. It only had like 6 stations. And so it's a smaller airport. So the stations are like on the 2nd floor, and then like the entrance, like the ticketing and stuff, is on the 1st floor. But you walk in, you go up the escalator stairs, and then we went to our right and went through security, and then they had the thing. So when I got to that airport to leave, my flight was actually scheduled for a later time. So if I had ended up catching that later flight, I might have ended up missing my connecting flight. Hi, Mare. And if I'd missed that connecting flight, I wouldn't have gotten my bonus that I got for giving up my seat. So in a way, everything worked out, because giving up my seat gave me that extra amount for a future trip. But at the first airport, connecting me to that one, so the airport it connected me to was the Dallas airport. So the first airport, they had flights, and they announced that the other flight was like running 30 minutes behind. And with it running 30 minutes behind, you're like set an hour behind. Because if you're set the 30 minutes behind, you're not going to get on that plane right away because people still have to get off. People still have to get back on and have time to get on. And so that's going to set you back an hour. And as it was with my flight that I was supposed to take, it would, hi Tiffany, it would have only given me like 30 minutes to get between terminals. And Dallas is a big airport. So we got off on like section B, like terminal B, and like terminal B, like gate 11, I think is the one that we got off on. And then I had to go all the way from that terminal to terminal D. I had to go to terminal D to like gate, I think gate 11 or something, but that's like totally like on the other side. So it's like a long, huge walk. And so it would have taken a while to get to that, and I would have been late to my flight, like the other lady was late to her flight. But so when I was at the airport, they announced that the plane was going to be late, but the people that were scheduled for that second flight needed to go talk to the lady because they had room on the plane for the extra people that were supposed to travel on the next flight. And so I was glad that I was at the airport early, so that they could announce that. Yeah, with little kids, it's probably better to drive. And so I got on that flight that was like a lot earlier. I was like, I think boarding was like an hour earlier than the other flight would have been. And then, so it got me to the other airport and plenty of time to get to my terminal. And then it gave me time to give up my seat. So I had to sit there. Well, my flight was supposed to leave at 1:40 in the afternoon. And I would have gotten home about 3:30. And then my sister would have picked me up about 4. So giving up that seat, it all worked out for the best. But overall, it just all kind of fell into place. But my husband picked me up from the airport to take me to his hotel. It was about 8:30 at night. And so we ate quesadillas for dinner. So we just cooked up a couple quesadillas on the stovetop. And then Saturday we was going to go visit Becca on Saturday, but she needed to do it Sunday. So we scheduled for Sunday. But we hung around for a little bit at the hotel and watched YouTube videos, That's our life. We watch YouTube. He watches his shows. I watch my shows, and I colored in a coloring book, which I actually have upstairs. I didn't bring it down with me. And then and then we went and watched a movie, and we watched Puss in Boots. And then we went to Outback Steakhouse and ate dinner, and I had steak. Well, I ordered like the combination plate. So it's one that had steak and chicken on it with 2 sides. And so we split it, which was the best still. And then the steak was so delicious. It was like probably one of the best steaks I've had in a long time. And usually when I go out to eat, I'll usually eat steak because it's not something I really cook at home very often. And so then after we ate dinner, we went to Goodwill and found the books. And then we went back to the hotel. And since we just eaten and it was still kind of early, we watched a couple movies on the TV. So we watched Doctor Strange. like the Marvel movie. And then we also watched, trying to think of the other movie we watched, like Strange World or something. It's on Disney. I can't remember it off the... And they do announce it in the theaters too, because I saw it on the sign at the theater the next day. Let me go ahead and pull up Disney and look at what movie that was that we watched after. Let's see. Strange World. Yeah. So we watched Strange World, and then we watched Doctor Strange and, on the TV. And then, no, we didn't stay in Dallas. Dallas was just like the connecting airport to get to where I was going. It was a smaller area. And I'm not going to mention where I stayed, just for his safety, because he works like right by it. So I don't really want to reveal like the location we stayed in. But we did not stay in Dallas. So we, after we got done... Okay, in Plano. I've heard of that. And so we watched those movies and we went to bed. But we had to let some time for our stomachs to settle after eating popcorn and eating dinner and everything, because we kind of overstuffed, because we also got dessert. And the guy was so nice at Outback that he gave us like a free dessert for our anniversary. It was so nice. And then on Sunday we went and watched another movie. So Sunday we went and visited Becca at her place, because she lives just a little ways away from where we were. And so we went and drove down and visited Becca. And then we, after we visited Becca, we stayed at Becca's for like 3 hours. A lot of talking and just visiting. It was great. And then we went to the movie theater and watched Megan. It's like kind of like a creepy doll movie. And so we watched Megan at the theater. And that time we didn't get any popcorn, but we got a drink. And those drinks are expensive. Anything at those theaters are expensive. Oh my goodness. But then after the movie was over, we went to Chili's and ate dinner. Because I'm like, we could go back to Outback, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to ruin my experience at Outback. I didn't want to like say, well, the first time was really good, but the second time was just crap. I didn't want to say that. So, yeah. And so we went to Chili's, and their food was okay, but it wasn't as good as Outback. And they're neighbors, Outback is there, Chili's is here. It was either that or go to Applebee's, but Applebee's was more of a drive, which would have been okay. Probably would have been better if we'd gone to Applebee's. But we went to Chili's, and of course the dessert that we would have gotten, they were all out of. So I got a cheesecake, and my husband got the molten lava cake, which was pretty good. But it probably wasn't as good as their skillet cookie that they had. But yeah, so we ate dinner, and then after that, we went back to the hotel. I would have loved to go thrifting more, or even go to one of their other stores, but it wasn't gonna happen. My bag was already pretty full. I could have probably fit like 1 or 2 more items in my bag, but not much more than that. And so we got back and I sat down and I colored a little bit in the book. I think he watched some like DuckTales or whatever while I watched YouTube. I watched some friends on YouTube. And then I colored in the coloring book that I was coloring a little bit. And then I just didn't have the right colors that I wanted for the different shades that I was coloring. So I closed it up and I packed everything away. I put everything away, packed it in my bags to make sure it was ready for the next day. And we were tired, so we went to bed. And then Monday morning, we got up, got ready for the day, went down and ate some breakfast. Well, we looked. I didn't really see anything. Well, yeah, I ate breakfast. So I ate some oatmeal and I ate something else. Oh, we made an oatmeal cookie. So he doesn't have an oven, but he has a skillet and like a stovetop. So 2 burners on top. And so we made a skillet cookie. So basically, because they have like these little like containers of oatmeal, which is like half a cup of oatmeal. And they have like a little recipe on the thing that says if you use 1 cup of oatmeal, like 2 tablespoons of flour, and it says gluten-free cookies if you use gluten-free flour, but we don't have gluten-free flour, so we just used regular, which worked out fine too. So we used, and it says 1 cup of oatmeal, 2 tablespoons of flour, and 2 tablespoons of oil, and 1 egg. So since there was only half a cup of oatmeal in that container, well, we halved it. So we did that half a cup of oatmeal. We did the 1 tablespoon of flour and then the 1 tablespoon of oil, and then we did the 1 egg, which if we could have split that egg in half, it probably would have made it better because the cookie was pretty eggy, but it was good. So we just put it in the pan with a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, and we scooped out the cookie into the pan, and we cooked it. And I cooked one side a little bit more than the other, but then I flipped it and cooked the other side. And then when it was done, the bottom of it was like caramelized like a cookie would be if you cooked it in the oven. And it was pretty good. And so my husband was pretty excited because now he can take the oatmeal that they have in the hotel, because they have like the free breakfast little buffet thing at the hotel. And so he so we'd made that oatmeal cookie, and so now he's got another thing he can cook if he wants, something different. And he said, I'd probably let like the mix sit for a little bit and kind of the oatmeal soak in like the moisture and stuff before he would like put it in the pan. So he would let it kind of like sit a little bit to collect it before he put it in the pan. But, we're kind of working on the schedule. But we ate, and then we sat for a little bit, and then it was time to, it was like almost 9 o'clock. And he's like, let's go downstairs and see what they have down there. And so we went to the breakfast section, and I really didn't see anything that I wanted, but I did get a cup of juice. And then we went back up to the room and made sure everything was gathered up and packed. And a little bit from then, we left because there wasn't much else to do. So we left and he took me to the airport. And it was good that he took me to the airport because then I was able to catch that earlier flight than having to catch a later flight and miss my flight. So it all worked out for the best. Other than that, it was just a really good visit. We had a lot of fun. Hi, Kathy. So glad of you to join us. You're like at the tail end here. I have been on for like over an hour. Just kind of chatting about my visit. I'm chatting about the coat that I made and that I need to get it to my niece and everything. And then showing my books that I got from Goodwill when I was in Texas. Oh, that's good, Kathy. I hope you're feeling better. Hope today is a good day. I know you've had a couple bad days where you haven't been feeling good. It's hard when you're not feeling good. Like, I've had a little bit of a cold, but it hasn't been, like, too bad. I think I'm going to text my niece and find out what's going on with her. See if she would like her jacket. Oh, that's good, Kathy. So you went to your niece's baseball game last night. That's good. I'm glad you're doing okay today. It's hard when our friends aren't feeling well. You know, and I was going to do a Friday so I mentioned this in somebody's chat that I was going to do a Friday sews. And so I recorded it before I left on Friday. And so I went to go post it and the file just did not translate. So there was nothing there. Like my recording was really choppy. And I think it was just because my computer was getting bogged down by all the videos I had recorded on it. So I needed to remove those and clean up my computer a little bit. And so and it seems to be working fine now. I haven't had a whole lot of issues yet. Yeah, I saw that last night, Kathy. I watched it. It was good. I didn't comment, I don't think. But I did watch it, so I should go back and comment. I think I watched it and then something else happened and then something else happened and it just didn't happen. It was making dinner. Oh, you did it at the ball game with faster internet. Oh, good, Kathy. Glad that you had good internet at the ball game. But yeah, I'm glad it finally got uploaded, Kathy. But you have quite the room. I like it. You know, I haven't done a room tour in a long time. Now, I did kind of give Joni like a little sneak peek room tour. Beef stew night. Yeah, you kind of got to get those started early on Joni. But when me and Joni were doing our little StreamYard video call thing, I kind of gave her a little sneak peek of what my room looks like. Because I did. I could show you guys. And I have a lot of stuff, just to warn you. And I kind of load things up. But I can unplug you. And I didn't even remember to plug in my mic. So hopefully my sound is okay. Because I didn't even plug in my mic today. Okay, well, I will show you. Just don't judge me. I have a lot of stuff, and I have a low ceiling, and I need a sneeze. Okay. Yeah, my craft space is kind of a disaster, too. All right, sorry about that sneeze there. So, I'm going to open up my magic curtain here. Yes, I call it my magic curtain because it hides all my stuff, but then it also kind of hides the lights that blind people and give people headaches. So, I like to put my curtain up just for that reason. And you know, my room isn't as bright right now as it could be. I could turn up the light, and here it is super, super bright. And then this is like what I usually have it at. So hopefully that didn't blind you with all that brightness. Hi, Faith. They want to kind of see. So I'm going to make you guys a little seasick by moving you around with my computer because I use my computer to stream. So we'll start back here, okay? This is my mirror. This is my like sleeve, like my sleeve board. Up here, see, these are like little funnels that I have made to use for making my tailor's hams. But up here I have my tailor's ham. So this is what a tailor's ham is. And some of the stuff in it has settled a little bit, so it's not as tough. And then this is like a little sleeve roll for my tailor's ham. And then I have some markers over here and my cutter. And then I have drawers. So this drawer here, let me tip you up there. That has, I have a lint roller, and I have a drawer full of serger thread. And these are like surgical blades that I haven't opened up yet, but then I also have like tape and stuff in here. A little sneak peek. And then I have like some X-Acto blade, surgical blades here that I use for my unpickings. And then I have an outdated calendar. I can use those pictures now. That kind of almost looks like my son's cap, but his has more like gray right there. Okay. And this is iron. This is like the cordless iron. And then I have my other iron here, my Singer, that is corded. And I have these out because I got a hook and then it didn't even stick. Okay. So back here I have thread. So this is like a thread box, and I have it full of thread. I have interfacing here, like this is like my embroidery paper stuff. And then I have my embroidery machine here. Yeah, Joni. I have a new calendar. I just haven't put it out yet. I have a paint by number here that I just have sitting there that I haven't done anything with because it is what it is. And more embroidery thread back there. I have a knitting loom. And then I have a little box like down here. So the thing about computers is I can tip them like this, especially when they're not connected. So this I have like threads in, and this I have like my bobbin threads and stuff for my biking. And then over here I have, in this bottom drawer, I have stuff for my brother, and then I have my other threads. So I have a lot of embroidery threads because that's what I do. And then under here is my Viking machine that I use for my embroidery. And that's what I did. I didn't do all of the latest embroidery on there because my machine was messed up at the moment. So I ended up doing a lot of the embroidery on my brother machine. All right. So as you see over there, I have drawers. So I keep, like, I have like this like little book rack. That's like a little tiered book rack that I keep things in. Like this, I put information in. And then I have rulers here, just sitting here, and pencils. So this little drawer thing here, it came out of a sewing cabinet. I took it out so I could store stuff in it. And so I have all these pens. I have scissors. I got a pretty nifty, like, it's like a fringe scissor. And this stuff. And then there, so I have lots of stuff in here. So up there, I have a half wall there. So I have a like a little cabinet thing there, which I could take the cabinet out, but I kind of like it because it hides stuff. And then I have right up there, that top box, like right there. That box has buttons in it. And then the other boxes right there, they have other stuff. So I have like rivets and like buckles and different type of sewing stuff. And move my chair out of the way. That white box there, right there, I have like stuff for, like, I have a white in that top drawer. I have a white thing that goes to my serger, to my biking serger. And then that blue container up there, sorry if I'm wiggling, the blue container has like clips and stuff in it. And then these are some bags that I have hanging up here that I've made. And then I have another one of the like little sewing like things here that I have hung up to store stuff in. More stuff to store stuff. And then I have my cobbler machine. And then I have books just sitting on top of the little table that I made. The coat that I made. This is my sewing machine. Over here on this other table by my biking machine, I have a bin full, and none of this, I haven't cleaned up anything, so I'm sorry. This just has other stuff in it, like a little basket that I have, like little collaring tools and stuff in. And then I have a rocking chair that I have material and stuff piled on, because that's what I do. I pile. That's what I do. I pile things. If I have an empty space, it's piled with something. And then this is my paper collection, like my craft paper, like my 12 by 12s and stuff, like the colorful papers. This is my collection of papers. And then I have yarn here. Now this isn't all my yarn. I have lots of other yarn everywhere else. This is like a iron press that I got from a friend. And I just kind of have stuff there and stuff piled on. But I make sure I don't pile anything too significant on top of that. And then I have these bins. And I got these bins when I was doing my sewing upstairs many years ago in my front room. And so these bins I got to store stuff in. And I just kind of have to take them with me. And so I pile them up. Yeah. And then, of course, I just kind of have a thing. So I told Becca that in my room, you kind of have to go sideways to go through. Well, not really, but you kind of do. Because I just kind of have stuff piled. So these boxes here. So I have this box here. That's patterns. I'll move down with you. This box is patterns, and this box is patterns. Okay? Because I love patterns, and I just couldn't not get patterns. This has fabric in it. This bag has patterns, and this bag has patterns, and the bottom bag has patterns. That's down there. Okay? Because that's the way I work. But, like, when I talked to Joni, I'd kind of done a little, like, intro type thing, but then I decided, you know what? I'm just not even going to post it. So I have more yarn here. And like I said, I have lots of stuff. And then this is a shelf that I got that I kind of put things on to organize a little bit. So this is the bag that I have my heat gun in. I have my heat gun, and then I have iron back there, and I had my other iron back there too, but I needed to use it. And then I have a bag that, like a box that has like little vinyls and stuff in it, and other kind of things for embroidery and heat transfer vinyl and stuff. And just a bunch of other items like fabrics on the bottom and stuff. And then if we switch around on the other side, I have books. So I have books up here, and some of these are magazines too that I've gotten for like crafting purposes. But these are books. It goes all the way down. Like these boxes have my markers in them, like my fabric markers and paint markers has those in there. But it has books that go down and down and down and down. Okay. And then this shelf here, the top shelf, I have like these are elastics, like my fold over elastics, and these are like trims and stuff, and it also has elastics in there. And of course it has books that go all the way down to the bottom. And then I have stuff piled up in front of it because I'm a piler and that's what I like to do. It's just the way I work. And I won't show you my back room because that's a mess. But that kind of shows you hi April. Sorry about the bright lights. I was kind of given an impromptu, like, kind of a little tour of what my room looks like that not everybody sees because I always put up a curtain. And so this is my pole that I talk about that is here. That is like, in conjunction. You can see. So there's my sewing table right there. And there's my pole. All right, Joni. Well, thanks for joining us. But yeah. So I do have this pole to contend with. That's why things are the way they are. And it could be better. But that's kind of a view of what I have because it is what it is. And then my kids like to use this chair and sit down next to me and do stuff. And I'm a little bit crooked because I had you sitting on the cord. Yeah, it would be a fun raid. Like my sisters sometimes tell me that they want to come and do some fabric shopping in my room because I do have a lot of stuff. And it just is what it is. How big is my room? I wrote it down once. I really did. And I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like a... Because see, beyond that, like behind the mirror there is my furnace room. So it's kind of like an odd space. I wonder if I wrote it down in this book. I probably did not. Like this has like when I was buying fabrics and stuff, I'd write down what I bought and that, and then I stopped doing that because I was just buying too much and it was too hard to keep track of. Like on here, I like to write down how much I got paid for something if I'm tracking it, because I do commission work sometimes. So people do hire me. Yeah, it's not big enough, but it works. So trying to think, it's probably like a 10 by 13. So like 10 feet wide, maybe. Yeah, because my table is like 6 feet long. So I would do like 10 feet wide, like this way, 10 feet. And then I have those half walls. So they're like shelf walls. Yeah, my mom used to sleep down here. Like she could fit her bed like in between like the pole and the wall. Yeah, it would have to go this way, her bed. And it was a king size. No, it's a queen size bed. And then going this way, like to there, it's probably, I know it's not quite as long going from there to there. It might be 9 feet, maybe, I think. Because my table is at least 36 inches wide. And then, is that right? Let me see. Yeah, like 35 inches wide is my table. And, well, yeah, maybe that would be 3 feet. Is that right? Yeah, about 3 feet wide. And then that way, so maybe 9 feet, and then the other is maybe 13. So I have an additional 3 feet beyond on that side, beyond the wall. So about 3 feet of usable space going back. So it's not the biggest space, and it's not the most like, oh, you got something, Sharon? Maybe that'll be your box. Huh. What did they write, Kathy? I'm so glad you're in here to mod. It might have been detrimental. But yeah, so it's not the biggest size. Like my house, like my basement is only like half the width of my house. And if I stand up, okay, I can touch my ceiling. So this is my ceiling to my basement. And granted, I'm only like 5'2". Okay. Well, that's good. I can block him if I need to. I can like block user, but we'll give him a second chance. But it was a naughty person. All right. But yeah, so it's a very short ceiling. And the other side, so on this opposite side of my wall here, it's like I have my heater vent there, and so I have hooks up there. So on that other side of the wall is a crawl space. And the crawl space is just dirt, and it's pretty much a crawl space. It has like the plumbing, like the pipes and stuff for the drains and that in there. And so if I have to do something with the plumbing, like the pipes that go to the bathroom or to the pipe outside to the front yard, because we don't have secondary water here, we have to use regular water. Oh, you got your package, Sharon? Oh, I'm so excited. You love everything. I'm so glad. And when I dropped that off to the post office, I asked the post lady, because I also took a medium-sized shipping box with me. And I hadn't sealed up the package yet. And I'm like, okay, so what's going to be cheaper? What's a cheaper way to ship this? And so she measures each thing because she knows how much the shipping box is going to be. And she measured the bag, and it's like, the bag's cheaper. I'm like, oh, good. So we just kept everything in the bag and sealed it up and sent it off. Oh, I'm so glad you got it, Sharon. I hope those towels are good for you. I would have sent you more if you hadn't have sent me that message saying to only include 4 towels. I probably would have included like 2 extra towels if you hadn't have done that. Probably just so that you could have given them to the person you're giving the Nightmare Before Christmas towel scarf to. And I did, in the envelope, I did add some extra embroidery designs in that envelope that I sent you in that package with those paper doll pictures, so that you have that. And hopefully the scarf is what you expected it to be, Sharon. When I make things for people, sometimes I worry about, like, if they're going to like it or not. Because, it's not that I doubt my work, but sometimes I kind of wonder if it's good enough quality, let's say. So hopefully it's up to par. If there's any issues with any of it, please let me know and I can make it right. Okay, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad, April. Hopefully it was up to par. I just... I try. But yeah, it's... Like, my husband was telling me the other day, he's like, you know what? Sometimes I would still like to make a house and move. But the older we get, the further away it gets, like, the thought of moving. And then the other day I was thinking, you know what? It would be great to be able to move into a different place. And as nice as that would be, and he kind of worries about it because of stairs and stuff for when we get older. Yes, I know how to roof. The thing is, I'm not as young as I used to be. And I could maybe do it one more time, but roofing is hard. But he was saying he would like to eventually have a different house. Yeah, it makes it hard, Sharon. But see, the only reason why I was going to send you extra towels is so that you could have sent some to your friend too, that you're sending the scarf to. And I don't remember if it's your friend or your daughter or granddaughter. Now, I wouldn't want like a teeny tiny house. Like, for me, I need a house that's bigger, and like a lot of stuff is kind of piled because I don't have wall space really to like put much else. Okay, your friend's daughter. Okay. Yeah, I thought about making you some towels and sending them with you for her. But, and I know I said I was going to send a pattern to somebody for towels, and now I can't remember who I said that to. Like, I had to go through and rewatch a video that I posted like 2 weeks ago because I remember talking about doing a project for somebody, like making a backpack and putting Pokemon and stuff on it. And for the life of me, I could not remember who I mentioned that to. and what exactly was mentioned. I just know we talked about it. And so I had to go back and rewatch that video and watch the chat. And so I finally found the information because her daughter's birthday is like a day before mine, is on the 23rd. And that lady that I met at the airport, her birthday is on the 20th. So, birthdays are great. Yeah, sometimes I do put a notebook beside me, and then I can't find it. Get the stair chair climber system when you get older. Yeah. But I go up and down stairs, so I think I'll be okay for a while. But so I have these little note card things. And so I just grabbed it from over there and wrote information on. And that's how I wrote down the information for the giveaway and stuff that I did and stuff I was doing. What I'd really like to do, Kathy, is build a second story to my house. The thing is, though, is around the foundation of my family room. Yeah, I'm sure, April. Move to Texas. Be your neighbor. That would be great. If you had lived closer, April, I would have figured out a way to come visit you too. But you were 3 hours away from where I was. And driving 3 hours just wasn't going to work. We could drive 45 minutes away, but 3 hours just wasn't going to happen. There's an abandoned house beside you with an acre. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Texas is huge. With an acre. Needs a roof. Laugh out loud. Or would it be better just to tear it down and rebuild? And the question is, how much would the property be, is the thing, April. Because you got to think about the cost of that acre of land with the house. Because, I'm not opposed to moving. Might be haunted. Oh, whatever. I'm not scared of no ghosts. Ghostbusters! I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. I crack myself up sometimes. But, I don't know how my kids would feel about moving away from family. Not that we really visit family much. Even Becca, she was like, too bad you didn't live down here. Too bad you weren't my neighbor, because then you could come over and craft with me. I'm like, I know. We were kind of joking about it. And I know there's so many people that live in Texas too. What's her name? That I sent something to. Denley. No, she lives in Nevada. I think it was Karen that lives in Texas. I don't know. But see, if I lived in Texas, taking a 3-hour drive, it isn't too huge of an issue. But Because that can be done. It's the longer drives. Like, we were contemplating driving out to Texas in the summertime to take a trip. So we were thinking, like, depending on whether or not my daughter wants the rest of her stuff in Wisconsin. Yeah, I'm in Utah. So depending on where my like, when it gets time to go, like, whether or not my daughter wants her stuff in Wisconsin, because she moved to Wisconsin and she might want the rest of her stuff moved to Wisconsin, depending on how much room she has. If not, then I can find something to do with her books and her bookshelf and stuff. And yes, I could probably ship the books out to Wisconsin, and it would be a lot cheaper shipping out a couple of boxes of books than driving it out there. But she has other stuff that needs to go too. And so we were thinking about taking a trip out to Wisconsin and dropping off her stuff and then dropping off the U-Haul trailer. Because we'd probably take a trailer again, just because she does have a bookshelf. Just for the comfort in the van, not to stuff it full of all of her stuff, because it might not all fit. And then we was thinking of continuing driving and going visit my sister that lives in Indiana and visiting my son that lives in Virginia. But the thing is, Sharon also lives in Virginia, and she lives by my son. Like, maybe an hour away from where my son lives. And so, and then Kathy lives in Florida right now, but in the summertime, she's going back to Missouri. So just like kind of go and say hi to Kathy. And as we're going, we might go down and visit my brother that lives in Florida, or not, I don't know. But we could also drive by Joni's and visit her in Georgia, and then continue driving and go visit my husband in Texas, and maybe say hi to Becca again, and continue driving up and say hi to April in Texas, and continue driving up and home. But that would cost a lot of money. Just driving out to Wisconsin and then to Indiana and back home, it costed quite a bit in gasoline, but it wasn't too bad. I think it would be fun. But the thing is, taking a road trip with that much driving, it would have to be like spread out more. It's like I would have to, like, when we make stops and like stop and take breaks and rest before I start driving again. But then the thing is, I was thinking, like, with my son, and he's like, but Mom, I don't want to leave my cat. I don't want to leave my hamster. Yeah. And so I don't know if that's going to work or not, taking that trip. And I was like, well, if my son really doesn't want to go, I could leave him behind, and my sister, he could just spend time with my sister, and she could make sure he gets everything he needs. Because we think about taking my sister with us too for a long trip, but I don't know if she really wants to go on like a month-long trip, because I'm calculating that I'd be gone at least a month. Just taking those trips, because I don't want to just do it all in a week. That's no way to go. I want to be able to stop and visit each place for at least a day or two. And I would probably have like a spot in my van to have a bed just for my kids, you know? Yeah. You know, traveling with kids, it will take a long time. And traveling with myself would take even longer, I'm sure. But yeah, because we're driving from Utah and we'd be driving like up through all these different states. And then I could even drive through Colorado too and say hi to Jen Wren and that because Jen lives in Colorado. I would just make my whole like itinerary plan around all my friends that live in all these different states and make this like long roundabout way to go around. But yeah. All right. Well, I think I am going to log off. I'm going on 2 hours and a lot of chit chat and then visiting and stuff. And I should probably get something else done today, like switch over laundry. I probably should have yeah, several trips, yeah. Like I still want to take a trip to visit my husband again, but that might not be until like April. All right, well, thank you so much for stopping in, April and Kathy and Sharon and Matthew and Sherry. And there was, who else was there? There was Joni, and there was Faith, and there was Tommy, and there was Tiffany, and Happy Ray. Thank you guys all so much for stopping in. I so appreciate it. You guys all have a wonderful day and stay creative. Talk to you next time. Bye now.